Hi, I'm DelusionDispeller telling my story about my former marriage to a narcissist. So as I said, when I started bringing my then 2-year-old daughter with me, when I was engaged to my ex-husband, she got the brunt of the abuse. I remember a time when Carol wouldn't do something that we had asked her to do. Now, remember, she's only like 2 years old here. And the ex-husband walked into the kitchen, grabbed her, yanked her up by one arm, and just started wailing on her like this while she was dangling in the air. Now you have to understand, my ex-husband, 6'4", and here's this tiny, skinny little kid just dangling there, getting the you-know-what beat out of her. And it's hard for me to even talk about this stuff because I have a lot of really bad feelings, because if I had seen that now, I would run in there and rescue that little kid. But these people, these narcissists and psychopaths, are so insidious in how they make you feel guilty and stuck. You just don't move. You just, especially with that so-called Christian belief that you have to submit, you just freeze and you just realize, oh, well, this is going to make her a better person. And, you know, and it's not. It's abuse. There's no excuse for it. And I hurt for every person I talk to who has been through this, and I hurt for my children that have been through this. And it's just wrong, it's evil, it's mean, it's just totally not good. Okay, there was another incident with my daughter where we had pulled in for a yard sale, and it was very, very hot out. She must have been like maybe 4.5. She might have been a little older, like 6 or 7. I can't remember. She was sitting in the back seat. She was strapped in, and it was beastly hot out. And we were going to run across the street just to go and look at a yard sale. I mean, you could see the car from where we were. Everything was real close up, but it was across the street. And I said, just wait here. Mommy will be back. I just want to look at a few things. I'll be right back. And she screamed because it was so hot in there, and the car was getting hot. And you've all heard about stories where kids are left in cars and they suffocate and they die and bad things happen. And I was really hesitant. It was my ex-husband's idea. Just leave her here. She'll be fine. We're only going to be a couple minutes. Well, it only takes a couple minutes for bad stuff to happen. So I started panicking, and I'm like, I'm going to go back to the car. She's screaming. I'm not leaving her in there. And he's like, I'll handle it. And he walked back to the car. He yanked her out of the car. He threw her against the trunk and just started beating her. Just smacking her and smacking her and smacking her while she turned and squirmed, because the back of the car was like really, really hot. And it was really hard. Because, again, I froze. I didn't know what to do. There were, like, people watching, and it wasn't that I was embarrassed. I was in shock. I just couldn't move while I was watching this happen to my child. This wasn't even his kid. This was my child from a different relationship. I almost hesitated to make any of these videos because I knew it would be really hard to get through this, but I felt that you need to know that I do understand the pain of abuse, and I do understand how you feel when you have children and you watch these people do this to your children and you blame yourself for it and you hurt over it. I get that. Anyways, at that point I went home and I called my mother in tears, and she said, if you ever let that happen again, if you ever let him lay a hand on any one of your children, I will call child abuse on you and you will lose your children. And at that point, I stepped in and I said no more. Anytime he raised a hand to those kids, I jumped in between. I brought the kid out of the room. It didn't matter. I did not let him hurt my children anymore after that point. Because I knew my mom was not playing. My mom is a lawyer. And if she says she's going to call child welfare on me, she's not playing. She's not bluffing. And I didn't want to lose my children. So that was the end of that. He never laid a hand on my kids again. Okay, the other thing was, at one point we had to move in with his mother, and he would allow his mother to scream at my daughter, and he never defended her. He would say, well, if she'd mind, my mom wouldn't have to yell at her. He never checked to see what she was even being yelled at for. He just let her scream at her. At one point, my daughter had a bruise on her face and a handprint from his mother. We had gone out somewhere, we left her to babysit, and I come back and my daughter has a hand-shaped bruise on her face. So, yeah, there was a lot of really bad stuff that went on. Stay tuned and I'll tell you some more.